Dear students, in this tutorial we are going to learn some basics regarding tabulation method. So at first I'm going to answer the question, what is tabulation method? So tabulation method is such a method which is particularly useful for minimizing functions having a large number of variables, for example 6 variable functions. So you should know that tabulation method is also known as tabular or Quine-McCluskey method. So basically tabulation or tabular or Quine-McCluskey method is such a method by which we can easily minimize functions having a large number of variables. So the question comes into mind is this one: can't we do it using K-map? Because we have already learned K-map, we have already understood the ins and outs of the K-map, so why can't we just do it using K-map? The answer is actually we can, but it might just get a bit more difficult and we might get an incorrect answer in case of dealing with large variable problems. Because whenever you want to build a K-map with 6 variable or 5 variable, you might end up creating the K-map a bit larger than the normal ones. For example, if you want to build a K-map with 5 variables, you will have 32 squares, and if you build a K-map for 6 variables, you will have 64 squares. So as you see, these K-maps are incredibly big and you will be having difficulties creating groups in those K-maps, and eventually you may end up creating a wrong answer from that K-map. So that's why in case of large variable functions, it is particularly useful for us to use tabulation method instead of K-map. Even though tabulation method itself is quite huge, but in the case of tabulation method we go through some very specific steps which helps us to reduce the margin of error that we might be getting. So that's why it is useful for us to use tabulation method in case of problems having large number of variables. However, in our case, we'll see the examples using 4 variables only. That's because if we use 5 or 6 variables or even more variables in our examples will get extremely huge. That's why we try to show you the example using only 4 variables. But you should not worry about this, because if you can somehow learn the 4 variable problems, then you will definitely be able to solve any other problems using any number of variables. So that's it for this introduction video. Next we'll jump into some example problems and hope you will enjoy those. Thank you very much.